Uh, Tonight I would like to show you this book that is a very small one, written by Eugene Snosko Borowsky. It was a book that it was in descriptive, and now it has been translated in algebraic. This manual, in my opinion, is obviously for beginners. It speaks of openings, middle games, and other stuff, but most of all, it gives you some ideas on how to learn to play chess. The game I want to show you is from page 22. There is white, that is Dr. Sibert Tarash, very famous player of the end of the 1800, beginning 1900. And black is Georg Marko. Also Marko was a player of that time. Tarash starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, d6. What is the reason that is showing this game in particular? He says, do not learn variation by rote. Rote is memorization. Try to understand them. Another interesting point to my knowledge, the majority of chess manuals occupy themselves more with variations than with understanding the game. But guys, I don't know if you understand, this booklet has been written like 100 years ago. So 100 years ago, there was the same belief for the beginners of today, which means to learn the opening, right? And so he says, more than with variation, that with understanding the game, than with teaching the ideas of chess based on the laws of the game. Perfection in teaching does not, however, consist of accumulating variation that the reader often seeks in vain to assimilate without understanding them, and which just result in confusion. And of course, this is the lesson, because he shows two masters and Marko loses badly, so he's trying to give you a moral lesson, right? So after d6 there is d4, bishop d7, castle, and knight f6, rook e1, bishop e7, and here we have knight c3. Here it says, it seems that white's last move has not changed anything about the position, and that black can continue to develop normally with castle. But it is precisely this move, with this move, black falls into the trap, because the white e-pawn is now defended twice, with the result that his opponent loses a pawn, a piece, or the exchange. The game continues as follows. Castle, bishop takes c6, bishop takes e6, and then d takes e5, d takes e5, queen takes d8, and here there is a diagram which proves that the author is telling you something. What does it tell you? That practically to take with either rook is a problem. With a rook on f, white is winning a piece. Let's see what happens with the rook on a. Rook a takes d8, knight takes e5, bishop takes e4. Why bishop takes e4? Because he's thinking that he will give a checkmate here, since there is a back rank, right? Knight takes e4, knight takes e4, and now if you were white, what would you play? Remember, if you play rook takes e4, there is rook d1, check, rook e1, rook takes e1, checkmate. So obviously you cannot take that, right? So white played knight f3. And now there are two pieces that are on the same file that are practically attacked, right? So what does black play? He plays f5. But at this point there is f3. And again, black tries to gain a tempo giving a check with bishop c5. But unfortunately it doesn't work because knight takes e5, knight takes e5, and now there is bishop g5. Can you start to see what's gonna happen? Because he's attacking this, right? And this file is controlled by white. So black plays rook d5. But there is still a problem. Watch this. Bishop e7, and you see, I say, oh, but yeah, I saw that, right? Rook e8. And now what do you think white played? White played c4. And here white wins at least the exchange. It would not be difficult for us to explain the idea behind this trap, but how much easier would it be to remember that when white's e-pawn is defended twice, it becomes necessary to exchange the pawns on d4 before continuing with normal developing moves. This famous trap, requiring no less than 11 moves, is thus avoided. And so this was the lesson for today, based on this new booklet just printed, which is How Not to Play Chess by Eugene Snosko Borowsky, that wrote a very interesting little booklet for beginners. Okay, thank you very much for watching.